So what's going on? This is Leo here, LTD Home Services. I in the process of building a chicken tractor in the style of Polyface Farms and Joel Salatin. So basically just stole everything from him. Yeah, we heard you. We heard you. Anyways, right now we have about 30 laying hens, and we're going to be doing some pastured meat birds. So this is 8 feet by 10 feet. I believe Joel Salatin goes 10 feet by 12 feet, but for a number of reasons I went a bit smaller. I figured these would be a bit easier to move around if we ever needed to move them from one pasture to another. But this is our current pasture. It's probably a quarter of an acre, maybe a little more. It's going to get shared by the laying hens, but they're not going to go in this thing. Anyways, the most important thing is just to show you the construction. I used Douglas fir for most of it. I ripped 2x4s down to half size. Obviously, if you can get 2x2s, just use those, that's fine. And I used PT for the bottom plates. That's just a 2x4 ripped in half. That's a deck board ripped in half. Don't ask me why, it's what I had. I don't think it really matters. But the design I'm going to be using is going to be one that essentially gets dragged. Now, I think this is going to work just fine. I don't want to deal with wheels for a number of reasons: weight, cost, complexity, one more thing to break. So I put some eye hooks directly into the frame, and I'm going to attach about 25 feet of strong rope, have it loop out, attached, and then literally just manually drag it. I'll probably put a couple of simple handles on the side so me and a strong buddy of mine, or actually even my wife, can just lift the whole thing up if we need to. I'll show you the roofing. Aluminum roofing is recommended. I don't have aluminum. You can only find steel, but it's going to go this way. So that's 8 feet this way, 10 feet this way. So it's just going to get layered, completely covered. And I'm going to leave the front and back a little bit looser so you can kind of peel it up to access the food and water systems. Not sure exactly what watering system we'll ultimately use, but in the short term we're just going to use some kind of basic drop-in bucket water, bucket feeder. But we're going to start with like 25 to 30 birds. This will get moved every day or so, but it's about 80 square feet in there. I'm not sure about the lay bar. I wasn't sure if you were supposed to do one or not, but I did a lay bar. So you can see in the back, about 13 inches off the ground, there's a lay bar that goes back just to give them a bit more room. Just to try to keep them off the ground when they're sleeping and let them have their natural instinct for roosting. But other than that, everything's open. And like I said, PT on the ground. So I did use brackets in a couple of areas, and I think it really made a lot of difference. With 2x2, you don't have a whole lot of support. Now, you could have done a bunch of like 45-degree pieces, which I'll probably do a couple here just for a bit more strength than I have the material. But again, for like $1 or $2, and these are completely reusable if you don't need them for this project. Just angle brackets here on the corners and angle brackets, different style, on the bottom. I did a little bit of fancy joinery on the bottoms, but not really. I just wanted to make those bottom joints a little bit stronger, so I kind of overlapped them. And the same thing for the base, just like a basic half lap, just to add a little bit more rotational stability. But honestly, you probably don't need to do that. I think the brackets probably do most of the work. That said, this thing's actually pretty strong. Obviously, I have a single cross brace supporting the rafters, which are just ripped in half. This is not going to be a snow rated piece of, farm equipment. In the winter, it'll get kind of tilted on its side or something. We'll figure out what to do with it, but I don't know. Anyways, give you an idea. Pretty much everything is joined just from the bottom, just screwed up from the bottom, just a basic butt joint, and also screwed in toe-nailed. Everything's done with 3 1/8 inch GRK screws. So they're really heavy duty, and if I ever want to reclaim any of them, all these screws will be good to go. Let's say I use maybe 60 or 70 screws in here. I can reclaim every single one of them and use them for another project if this doesn't work out. So anyways, you can kind of see what's going on. Just the 2 screws at a bit of an angle. To attach the rafters, I used a piece of blocking, just scrap, which also screwed at angles and then attached through here at an angle. And then also there's one more screw on the sides coming up at an angle as well. So yeah, very, very basic. The rafters are tied together with a single screw in the middle, but a lot of what I wanted this to do was actually be somewhat flexible. So I don't know if you can really see it, but if I pick it up, you can kind of see it wobble and flex, but then drop right back into position. So any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to post the video when I finish this off and have it actually out in the pasture.